Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report for the month of October. We thank you for the opportunity to share some news and information during a few minutes of your board meeting. We begin with a look at the 2013 MSBA Annual Conference, held in conjunction with the Missouri Association of School Administrators. This year's event, held during the first weekend in October, drew more than 1,200 school board members and administrators throughout Missouri. One of the keynote speakers was Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL and graduate of the Parkway School District in the St. Louis area. Greitens has founded an organization called The Mission Continues that supports returning veterans interested in serving their communities. He said the rigorous training for Navy SEALs stresses leadership and commitment, something also necessary to school board service. And he says school board members can inspire others in their community to serve as well.
All of the members of these school boards are people who've set an example of being willing to step forward and to serve as volunteer leaders in their communities. And in order for us to have strong schools, we need everyone to get involved. There's a role that everyone can play in their school, in their community. And I think that these leaders here, who've already committed to doing this in their personal lives, have set an example. And I encourage them to challenge other people to find ways to serve in schools as well.
Greitens also said school board members and administrators should often remind themselves of why they are doing the hard work of leadership for the students in their school districts. Besides keynote speakers, the annual conference featured more than 100 breakout sessions on current issues facing school boards and administrators. The MSBA Delegate Assembly also met during the conference to approve the association's legislative resolutions for the next year that form the basis of our advocacy efforts. The concluding session at the conference featured a panel discussion on the outlook for state tax cut legislation next year in the General Assembly following the defeat of House Bill 253 this year. Panelists said while the defeat of House Bill 253 was a major victory for public education, the battle for tax cuts is far from over. One of the panelists, Dr. Judy Stallman of the University of Missouri's Truman School of Public Affairs, has reviewed numerous studies on the impact state tax cuts have on the economy.
If you look at tax cuts by themselves, the research shows that there is a small positive impact on economic growth for cutting taxes. But if you look at them in conjunction with the expenditure cuts that have to go with them, then what you see is that those expenditure cuts have a negative impact on state economic growth, and that together, if you put them together and look at the net impact becomes negative.
Panelists agreed tax cut bills that could jeopardize the state's ability to fund public education will be back on the legislative agenda in 2014. And they urged board members and administrators to stay in contact with their local legislators on the issue between now and the beginning of the legislative session in January. By the way, the tax cut issue will be the topic of MSBA's fall regional meetings that begin this month and last until November. Check the MSBA website for the regional meeting near you. Missouri school districts now have an even greater incentive to participate in the Baldridge Continuous Improvement process. Columbia businessman Larry Potterfield and his wife Brenda announced during the annual conference a donation of $1 million to the first public school district in the state to win a Malcolm Baldridge National Quality Award for performance excellence. In Missouri, school districts would need to first reach the highest level in the Missouri State Award program to be considered for a National Baldridge Award. Potterfield says he hopes the award will encourage school districts throughout the state to take up the Baldridge Quality and Excellence program. The first place winner of MSBA's first ever What's Super About Public Schools student video contest was announced at the 2013 annual conference. The video was produced by R.J. Fentress, a student at Hazelwood West High School in suburban St. Louis. Let's take a look at the winning video now.
What's so special about my high school? Before we start talking about how great our sports programs are or how many competitions our clubs have won, let's look at a few numbers. a 4.2% dropout rate, and 19% of students simply not graduating at all in Missouri. And the football team isn't saving that. My school realized that and took action with West Alliance Learning and Knowledge, or Project Walk, a dropout prevention program that I'm proud to be a part of. It's a relationship building experience that could change the lives of those 4.2 and 19%ers. And the greatest part is, it's free. A complete change is free with no tuition to worry about. And help from teachers who care enough to give you a reason to keep moving on in school. I've seen statistics drop, and I'm watching more of my peers walk. That's more sacred than anything I can experience in any high school. And it may take time for us to get to that 0%, but we're pushing because every child had to crawl before it could walk. So what's so special about my high school? We plan to walk.
The Hazelwood School District receives a check for $1,000 because of RJ's great work. MSBA will be sponsoring the student video contest again next year. Please encourage your high school students to participate. Details will be posted on the MSBA website. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and so long from Columbia.